I've been working hard on getting the house cleaned up for Christmas. I don't know why I'm always behind, but I'm behind again. And I'm struggling a little bit with my respiratory issues, but I'm going to catch you up on it and talk about a few other things in this video. So I think this just looks like a table, but I think it's a footstool. So I'm going to get a cushion for it. And because I was kind of looking for a footstool, and maybe I'll just put something on it and make a footstool out of it. This was a vacuum cleaner and it was pretty dirty, but it looked nice. So I cleaned it up a little bit just so I could test it out. And it ended up not having much suction. So the first job that I've gone through here is going through some of this stuff that somebody brought me, like it was left over from a yard sale. And I did get through all of that, and I got a few things out of it that I think will be helpful anyway. And so yeah, I was hoping this vacuum cleaner would be good, but it just didn't have any suction. At first I thought this was like a TV table because it rolls around. It seems pretty sturdy. But then Jamie told me he was told that it was cat knocked the bottle off. Anyway, he told me it was like a shoe rack or something, but I think I'm going to find something else to do with it because a rolling cart would be really handy for certain things. I cleaned up this little mini garbage can, had to get rid of it, but I decided I'd just fold laundry, so y'all can watch me fold laundry while I talk. So as you know, I'm planning on doing a complete makeover of the house and going to be doing a lot of projects and a lot of things. You know, I'm not going to spend much money because we don't plan on staying here long term, but I am going to share a lot of projects and do talkovers. If you've watched some of my past videos, you will know that I am doing so much better with all of my mental health issues, my depression, sadness, and all that stuff. And I've been doing a little study on attachment theory. And, you know, all of us have different attachments to other people. So you can either be an avoidant attachment, or you can be an insecure attachment. But what we all need to strive for is to be a secure attachment. Now, I have not been a secure attachment. I kind of go back and forth between avoidant and insecure, and that's been my history. But just to know what a secure attachment is, it's a person that can love you and know you love them, but they don't worry about it if you're not like talking to them all the time, or if you know, do something and they're not freaking out because you backed away or you didn't, you know, they're going to find logical reasons why for some reason you went quiet or something, because they're secure. They just feel secure, and they're not really worried about it. They don't worry. A secure attachment doesn't worry about relationships. So I've never been that way. I've always been freaking out if anybody didn't, you know, respond right away or something. I was always one of the what you call needy people. I don't like that term because I think it's condescending. But if you have an insecure attachment or an avoidant attachment, it usually stems from trauma in your childhood. And it's not your fault. Don't beat yourself up about it. Yeah, you can do a lot of therapy, you can do a lot of self-help, and you can go to the center of that. And that's the goal that we all need to have. We need to go to the center. Neither be avoidant, acting like, you know, it doesn't matter, shutting people out. Avoidants have a way of doing things that protects them because they're suffering from scars on the inside. And an insecure attachment will do the same thing, and it usually involves chasing someone down the street to get them to talk to you. If you have ever heard the word needy used about somebody, they're usually an insecure attachment. They're just constantly freaking out over relationships and whether or not you truly like them, or, something like that. So, but what we need to do is come to the center and become a secure attachment, because they don't freak out over relationships. They don't withdraw from relationships. They are just simply secure. And so I have realized, of course, I've known for a very, very long time, I was really typically one of those needy people. And if I got really, really hurt about something, I could flip and be avoidant. But I was a little bit of both. And because I'm an introvert, and I could be a hermit, but at the same time, I want to know relationships are okay, and if they're not okay, then I'm freaking out, blah, blah, blah. But I recently, like I said in the last video, I topped the hill of my therapy, and I've suddenly got this freedom from freaking out over relationships. And it's been a great relief, but I didn't really trust it. It's been going on a week now, or a week, and I see that every night, every morning, I consistently wake up without any freak out going on. So I'm pretty sure that this is just going to stay. So I have successfully moved from an insecure attachment to a secure attachment. I don't really feel avoidant. I'm not pushing people away or anything like that. I feel like, and I have watched videos where people said how I became a secure attachment. So I know it happens, but you have to sort of work yourself into it. And I can't tell you exactly how I went from insecure to secure, but I will tell you that I have. And I no doubt it's come through all of my therapy and lots of study and lots of working on my character. But I can name about 4 different things that if you're incredibly insecure and you spend a lot of time worrying about whether or not people like you, or whether they're ghosting you, and you freak out if you think somebody's ghosting you, or if somebody doesn't talk to you for a week or even 2 weeks or 3 weeks, you're like, oh my gosh, they don't love me anymore, If you're one of those people, I can tell you a few things about it. And these things will help you to overcome. So, one of the first things, of course, you can hardly ever get help from anything unless you realize that you have it, right? So, first off, you're going to have to realize that if you are feeling heartache, pain, distress, anxiety over relationships, more than likely this means that you have an insecure relationship attachment. And it means you're going to probably know it, because people will have said to you over time, you're too needy, or why are you freaking out all the time? I love you. And you will have felt the pain. The pain is real. It's not imaginary. You can have heart palpitations, panic attacks. Certain things can happen, and you feel like you've lost somebody, and your face will flush, and your breath will catch in your throat. It can be a real panic-inducing experience. But the most common thing is just if someone has ghosted you, it's just that heartache and pain that goes along with it. But if you want to overcome it, the first things you need to do is realize that you do have an insecure attachment style. That's like the first thing. And then secondly, you need to learn to self-soothe. Think about, what do you love? Get involved in self-care. Build up your self-esteem. Think about the things that you're really talented in, you're really good at. And stop hating on yourself. Because as long as you feel like in some way you're invaluable, you're not valuable, and maybe you haven't been validated enough as a kid, or maybe you've had people put you down or shame you. There's a lot of shame that goes into building an insecure attachment. But if you kind of hate on yourself. Oh, I'm ugly, I'm overweight. Oh, I don't talk good. Oh, I'm this. Oh, I'm that. And people don't like me because of this. People don't like me because of that. It's probably because, you've been fed that message since you were a kid from one person or another, or maybe multiples. So what you need to do is learn to love yourself. Learn to self-soothe. Find things you enjoy doing that is going to gravitate your spirit to a peaceful place. Of course, I always suggest that you pray and seek the face of God over these things, because therein lies so much peace, the peace of God that passeth understanding. So, but get into your self-care. Don't neglect yourself. Build up your self-esteem by looking at what you're really, really good at. And all of us have talents. You may just be a great baby mama. You may just be a great housekeeper. But stop hating on yourself. And anytime that voice comes into your mind that says, I don't like myself, or you start feeling that way, just put a stop to it. Just don't let it stay. One thing that people with an insecure attachment style are really bad about is they want people to notice them, or to meet a need, or to spend time with them without them asking. And it's kind of like, well, if they loved me, they would know. If they loved me, they would want to be with me. And it just doesn't work that way. That's not a real life scenario. So what you need to do, really, is to make sure that you're actually verbalizing what you need and what you want. If you have a partner and he's not spending quite enough time with you, or you feel lonesome, you need to use I words and say, I have been lonely over the past few days. Could you watch a movie with me? Could you spend some time with me? And actually relate to them, how you're feeling about things. Because if you don't vocalize it, and avoidance can be guilty of this as well. But if you don't vocalize what you need, what you want, a lot of times they're just not going to know. And they may be more than willing to go out and eat with you, or do something with you, or spend some time with you. But, after when you go through this period of time where you're not telling them what you want, then you might even get angry at them because they're not doing what you have failed to ask them to do. So you need to actually verbalize what you need, what you want. And no doubt, if it's somebody that understands your personality and they're with you, they probably will realize you're putting forth that effort to actually tell them what you need. And then, they're gonna compensate, Now, if you're just asking all the time and you're not letting them have any airspace or anything, that might become, a problem. But generally, we have a tendency to either have angry outbursts or be pettish or something, but really not verbalize why we're feeling that way, which could be very, very, upsetting to someone who does love you and wants to help, and they just can't get it out of you. Another thing that the last thing I want to say is that we need to realize that in our lives, siblings, children, our parents, eventually, they pass on and they're gone. But if people love you and they really, really care, you're not going to chase them away. And if there are people that really aren't in your life because they want to be in your life, yeah, you may lose them, but God will add more people back to your life. And what I'm saying is if you love them, let them go. And what I mean is, don't let them go in the fact that you don't love them, you don't want to be in their family, you're not ghosting them, you're not throwing them away. What you're doing is you're releasing them from your bonds. Because being in a relationship with somebody that's incredibly needy can be traumatizing, because we can be pettish or angry and throw fits or something if we feel like that you're not exactly, sticking with us. But just let your children go. Let your partners go. Let people that you love go, so that you can ultimately gain them back. Because if you cleave to people, then they're going to want to go. And I just wanted to share these few little things with you that I learned in my process of going from insecure to secure in my attachments. And I can tell you that I am much happier now and things are going much better for me. So I wanted to share it.